Now, you see, when your identity is defined by society, you cannot resist it. You don't have the knowledge, you don't have the wisdom, you don't have the resources to understand that something's being put over on you. You cannot but help believe the definition of you as a free agent. But you believe yourself to be a free agent as a result of not being free. That is to say, of being hopelessly unable to resist society's identification of you.
There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table to figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Do y'all not know that they just banned the President of the United States of America? I don't give a damn what side you on. They just banned the President of the United States of America. Every single body in this country should be alarmed by that.
Because you're full of shit. That's why. Because every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true. And it's always, oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one, and I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it.
Kick these people off the plane because they support President Trump. And you got all these fucktards standing around doing nothing.
Kick these people off the plane because they support President Trump.
30 cops over here. Rest of them going everywhere. All these police everywhere. Because they were waiting for these people to get put off the plane because they support President Trump. How you doing? It's crazy.
I love every single one of you, but this is what they do to us. They kick me off the plane, they call me a fucking terrorist, and they want to fucking ruin my life.
But we are fucked. How are you going to fight back against it? I mean, here's the reality. You say, if they push censorship more, we'll fight back and we won't let them. Who are you going to tell? You can't go through mainstream sources. CNN, MSNBC, fucking newspapers. They don't give a shit what you have to say. They fucking hate you. Remember all those fake news jokes? They don't like you at all. So you got to use the internet. Well, what portion of the internet are you going to use? You're going to use YouTube? You're banned. Facebook? You're banned. Twitter? You're banned. You're going to go on Gab? Well, we're going to get their servers shut down. You're going to go on some alternative site? We're going to pull their funding. Oh, you want to monetize yourself? Nope, your PayPal's gone. Your Patreon's gone. Visa and MasterCard have stepped in. Your bank won't do business with you anymore. His bank refused to do business with him based on news reports. They're cutting your financial access off. It's insane. So where are you going to go? Oh, you're going to go to your quarantined websites. You're going to go post about it on 4chan. Okay. It's never going to leave 4chan. You can't get a groundswell of support to fight against censorship. When you are so censored, nobody can hear you screaming about censorship. All these websites are cutting you off. You'll never reach the mass majority of people because they are being insulated from you as we speak. Damn, is that depressing. But the reality of what's coming down the pipeline should scare the shit out of you. Because it's happening everywhere.
You're denying that the gas chambers never existed.
But I'm saying if you believe in freedom of speech, you believe in freedom of speech for views you don't like. I mean, Goebbels was in favor of freedom of speech for views he liked, right? So was Stalin. If you're in favor of freedom of speech, that means you're in favor of freedom of speech precisely for views you despise. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech. There's two positions you can have on freedom of speech. Now, you can decide which position you want. With regard to my defense of the utterly offensive, the people who express utterly offensive views, I haven't the slightest doubt that every commissar says, you're defending that person's views. No, I'm not. I'm defending his right to express them. The difference is crucial, and the difference has been understood outside of fascist circles since the 18th century.
Is there anything like objectivity, scientific objectivity, reality? As a scientist,
look, I'm not saying I defend the views. Look, if somebody publishes a scientific article, which I disagree with, I do not say the state ought to put him in jail, right?
All right, but you don't have to support him right away and say, I support him just for the sake of everybody saying that, whatever he wants to say.
Suppose this guy is taken to court and charged with falsification. Then I'm going to defend him, even if I disagree.
But he wasn't taken to court.
Oh, you're wrong.
But when did you write the support? I mean,
when he was brought to court. And in fact, the only support that I gave him is to say he has a right of freedom of speech, period.
Any person who fails to give his name and address, when required under subsection, gives a false or inaccurate name, is guilty of offence, okay?
Are they acting unsociably? And I was sat on a bench having a cup of coffee. That is not antisocial. Well, because yes, you're provoking me. You are. You literally are.
Are you going to give us your details or not?
No.
What's going on?
Why are you putting your hands behind your back?
What are you doing?
I was sitting on a bench. It's not attacking I was sitting on a bench.
What the hell are you doing to this woman?
You are breaking your own laws.
This is disgusting. What are you doing? What's this poor woman doing?
I was sitting on a bench, Mum. Why are the hands behind your back?
You've got to choose your side.
Why are her hands behind your back? Sorry. No, I'm going to arrest me and call me a pussy.
This is disgusting, guys.
You're on breach of your own regulations.
Choose your side. Choose your side. Look at them. There's hardly any of us here. Hardly any. Talk about fucking freedom of speech, people. Fucking tyranny. Fucking tyranny, I'm telling you. Yeah, it's going to get worse, guys. Mark my words.
They'd already decided to find them.
Yeah.
They even got there as well.
Bastards. Right.
So you can't, it's common land, common law, common land, common, that's what I want.
We'll start going. Yeah, okay.
I heard you.
Right.
Oh,
You're
bye-bye.
You're not leaving.
Well, neither are you. Why are you standing here?
What's your name, sir?
I don't have to give you my name.
Well, you do, because at the moment...
I don't have to give you anything. I don't have to give you anything. What law? What law says I've got to give you anything?
Well, the law says...
The law says what? That's not... COVID legislation isn't a law. What law says I have to give you my name? Now look, you're causing a scene here. You make yourself look like an idiot. You are. Is this what you're going to do to your children? You're going to try and get your children to stay in the house and your family. You're trying to enforce it. Well, what exercise? I'm out exercising. Well, I'm standing here because you're talking to me. Fuck off. You go away.
Don't swear.
I can swear. There's no laws that says I can't swear. Well, go away then. Go away then.
Go away. You either start leaving...
No, I don't have to.
We're exercising. We're exercising. As you see, I'm exercising. I'm exercising. I'm exercising.
This pandemic. The pandemic is that the president has no intercourse whatsoever with the rest of the world. I'm dealing with these things. We led, like Barack Obama led in the in the pandemic that occurred when we were in office. It was kept in Africa. We organized the world. We put things together.
The speaker said to us just moments ago, words matter. But apparently those words don't matter when they're uttered by Democrats. When the gentlelady from Massachusetts calls for unrest in the streets. When the gentlelady from California brazenly brags that she called for people to get in the faces of those who serve and support the president. I denounce political violence from all ends of the spectrum, but make no mistake, the left in America has incited far more political violence than the right. For months, our cities burned, police stations burned, our businesses were shattered, and they said nothing. Or they cheerled for it, and they fundraised for it, and they allowed it to happen in the greatest country in the world. Now, some have cited the metaphor that the president lit the flame. Well, they lit actual flames, actual fires, and we put them out.
Expired. There will be order in the House.
I yield back.
The gentleman from Ohio, do you wish to reserve your time?
Here's a quote. I just don't even know why there aren't more uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be. Or, sadly, the domestic enemies of our voting system and honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue with their allies in Congress of the United States. We were called enemies of the state. Those are all quotes from our speaker. Now, On our side, we didn't take those to be impeachable because we didn't believe she surely meant that. But by the Democrats taking this action, you're telling me, no, when we say those, we actually mean to incite violence. That's what this action is saying.
Overturning the election is different than being pissed off about getting shot by cops.
Listen, I'm glad you mentioned about being shot by cops because you cannot compare this, and I'm sick of people comparing. You can't compare what happened this summer to what happened at the Capitol. It's two different things.
Rules for thee and not for me. It's okay when we do it. It's okay when we say it, when you say it, when you do it, if you're even slightly connected to it, or if we can attribute blame to Donald Trump, we're going to use every institution that we have to go after you, cancel you, blacklist you, slander you, cancel you. Rules for thee, but not for me. The Democrat double standard at heart. Rules for Republicans and rules for Democrats, or lack thereof. Speaking of that exact idea, Jim Jordan blasts double standards of Democrats. They objected to more states in 2017 than Republicans did last week. And he's right. Lead impeachment manager, Representative Jamie Raskin, objected to 2017 electoral vote certification. It's okay when we do it, not okay when you do it. When we do it, we're standing up for democracy against the evil orange glorf man. When you do it, you're an evil, seditious traitor, and the FBI is going to be knocking at your doorstep. And let's cover one more GOPer standing up again against the awful, overt double standard of the Democrats. Here's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and what she said on the House floor.
Madam Speaker, I am against the impeachment effort by the Democrats. President Trump has held over 600 rallies in the last 4 years. None of them included assaulting police, destroying businesses, or burning down cities. Democrats have spent all this time endorsing and enabling violent riots that left billions in property damage and 47 dead across the United States. Democrats are on record supporting violence when it serves their cause, in their own words, on social media, on interviews, and on fundraising platforms. Act Blue
clearly indicates that there was intent. The court found the plan with unerring precision slices through the city's traditional subunit, the ward, in a racially selective manner, leaving intact predominantly white wards while carving up those densely populated by blacks. As of the governor, the court concludes, quote, the governor's opposition to the Nunes plan was predicated in significant part on his delineation of a majority black district centered in Orleans Parish. In a confidential portions of your staff memo, they brought to your attention the allegation that important legislators in defeating the Nunes plan in the basement said, quote, we already have a nigger mayor and we don't need any more nigger big shots.
My name is Dave. And I'm Wayne. And together we are a gay, inter-radical political protester couple.
Look at your boy Washington's stupid hat.
Who is Sean King? Are you f***ing him?
At first our political differences were kind of hot, but lately it's just become too much.
Oh, very funny. Oh, and what you've been doing all lockdown hasn't been. On paper, we do have the same interests.
We both love costumes, marching, wrecking property.
We both have bad tattoos, like my flaming American Eagle back piece.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting a stick and poke of a bottle of beer. We both think there was election fraud. We just disagree on which election. What are you doing?
I'm just looking for a few more votes. They're here somewhere.
Let it go.
You let Russia go.
I think he was agitating in my protest.
I think he was agitating at my protest. If you weren't at the protest, then show me your GPS history for January 6th.
I'm not doing this again. I told you I was at my mother's. I guess the root of the problem is we both just changed a little bit.
I used to think destructive protesters were terrorists, and now I think they're patriots.
I used to think the cops were cold-blooded murderers, but now I think the lady who got shot at the Capitol got exactly what she deserved. Guy will do anything Trump tells him to.
You'll do anything the media tells you to.
Tell him when I caught you singing in the shower yesterday.
Okay, I can't sing in the shower now. Wouldn't you know that Trump's my hero?
His hero is a threat to American democracy.
Like you care about democracy or America.
At least I know how to protest, you rookie. I do this. You're a hobbyist.
Okay, what did I tell you about using my poster board?
What? When I first met you, you didn't even like making signs. You're just copying me.
You're an NPC.
You're an NPC.
As a matter of fact, I love protesting. Just waiting for Trump to get back on Twitter to tell us where to go.
The guy should be impeached.
Well, how'd that work out last time for you? We did one protest and we broke into the Capitol. Wayne's wrecking some deli in Brooklyn.
You broke in and took selfies. Even the Women's March got that place shut down.
Just looking at our news coverage, this is called doing damage, Wayne.
I set a f***ing cop car on fire.
Guy stole some knickknacks from Target. He thinks he's Farrakhan.
You know what? I do actually agree with him. Farrakhan has some good points.
Yeah, good points on choice issues.
I'm going to my sister's.
You know, I am probably going to jail, which is kind of crappy unless King Trump pardons us, which he probably will because he cares about us.
He only cares about himself.
He's the least selfish president. You know, I do want to make this relationship work.
Plus, moving right now would be pretty challenging. We're both unemployed.
Remember that time we agreed on the $2,000?
Low-key, I was a little jealous when they stormed those gates. I just barely get to protest anymore. And just for once, I wish you'd just acknowledge your racism.
Yes, okay, I'm a little bit racist. Sue me. This guy's been talking about black guys every day for the last 6 months. I get a little bit jealous. You know, truth be told, we both actually made support for our movement go down.
Yeah, it turns out normal people hate the chaos we cause.
Trump's got my back, though.
Well, why don't you just marry him?